Hello, I am Naomi Jordan Cook.
And I'm Jessica Jordan.
And I'm super excited because this week in Women's Month, we're talking about ways we are celebrating. And one of the ways that I'm celebrating, I'm so happy. I'm going to be at the United Nations on Wednesday, March 15th of 2023, just in case if when we're playing this back for date purpose. And speaking about innovation technology with women and girls. So I'm super, super excited, and it's based around, the innovation with digital technology. And last week we spoke about, the percentage of how many women of color, primarily Black women, that are in technology, which it is a very low amount. We only make about 2 to 3% out of 25% of women. And I mean, that data is just crazy. So we need to do a better job. We need to get our girls, we just need to get our people into more of technology, especially AI. So this week I'm going to be with a group of women that are going to be having that conversation and discussing the difference and the importance of educating our women and girls in technology. And so I'm super excited. I'm going to be working on that presentation this afternoon.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're jumping into it. It's happening.
This is happening.
It's happening.
This is happening. And this is such a great honor for me to be doing this. So that is one of the ways that I'm looking on how I'm celebrating this week with women as for Women's Month.
So first of all, that's really amazing that you're doing that. And if I could just applaud you for it.
Thank you.
Because we're living in women history, right? You're one of the contributors to, the woman's footprint on Earth and just in stuff that we're doing, especially in the digital world. There was a teaching going on by Archbishop the other day, and he began to share about, what happens basically when people are not involved in creating the future, right? How we are then left out of it, that demographic. And so without women like you being involved in the world of technology in the future that we're going to, we're not going to be really thought of or included unless women are in there, right? And we see that it happens with Black people, the Black community in technology. And it's how okay, you weren't a part of the team creating this stuff. Right. And so then when this stuff is created, it doesn't consider you. It doesn't consider how the cameras aren't picking up your Black features in detail, right? Listen. For instance, but if a Black person was then in that setting, they would then, a Black person is able to think about that and go, hey, we need to include this for us. So that's why it's so important that you're in it.
It is so important because when I think of, just going to the airport, I've been stopped so many times. Okay, I don't know if it's because of the padding or whatever that is on it. But I mean, even if you look at the data, it is women of color that is primarily being stopped. And now that I'm hearing because women are wearing their long braids and the long hair, it's picking up as though they have something back there. And, I remember telling my daughter, she's like only 12, 13. I'm like, they're going to stop you and pad you down because of the shape of your body.
I've seen women's hair get patted down. Exactly. Like literally you're squeezing inside of a woman's head because, whatever she might be having on, a hairpiece or a hat or and all of that. And so it's like, those things definitely.
Or they tell you to do like this to shake your hair. And you're like, you're talking about this bobby pin that I'm keeping my
hair styled together. Okay, you're gonna have to just squeeze it and feel that because I'm not about to. It's absolutely
drugs
true.
Or bomb in there, but
those are things that culturally, if we were involved in that, then that conversation wouldn't even be an issue because it would kind of be dealt with. But I mean, we see that all the time, even with people creating rules and regulations around things. Headdresses aren't allowed. This thing isn't allowed, and you're going, but you didn't take into account, people's culture, for instance, and how that relates. And so I think that's so awesome that you're doing that because I feel like you're currently contributing to women's history.
Wow.
And to that point, what I've been doing to celebrate Women's History this week is I've been in the world of looking at women authors and writers. Yes. And, I was beginning to do my research and go, what are the women authors that I can remember? Octavia Butler. And I just had a whole of Bell Hooks. When I began to just think, Toni Morrison, of course, Zora Neale Hurston, and I was thinking about, how amazing all of these women are, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I just named a handful that are off the top of my head, but when I began to think about how amazing these women are and the great contribution that they've been to the world of writing, to our literary world, much of that world is consumed with a lot of, white male authors, but we are seeing a lot more Black female authors emerge, and female authors in general, and they've been around, women authors, but now we're seeing more of that. And then as I was thinking about these amazing authors from even, further back, earlier in the centuries, the 6th century Greek poet, and I'm going back to all that, and I began to think about, what? I know some amazing women authors in my life today in the present, and this goes to, celebrating, I guess, current events in women's history, you could say. And so I began to think of current day women authors and women that I know, and like now it's so much more encouraged that we begin to write. Women have so much to share, a wealth of knowledge. But I thought, hey, I'm related to some awesome women authors. And so I'm going to start with, I'll start with my sister, actually. So my sister, April, she is a poet. Love
is like breathing.
Love is like breathing. I know.
I love that.
First of all, this book is so awesome. So this is a book of poetry, some long, some short. And my sister published it, and it was so funny because it was another woman who actually encouraged her to begin to take her writings and put it in a book. Another woman saw her work and said, this is amazing. I want to help you bring this to life.
Another woman helping.
Woman helping. And then so she began to put together this book. And so what's interesting about this is a woman actually did the artwork.
I love it.
On this book too. And so, this book is women's history, right? Yes. It's power packed. It's women empowerment. April. So this is called Love is Like Breathing, and it's by my sister. Her poet name, right? Is pseudonym April Maybe. That's her poet name. I believe you can find her on Instagram. It's like at April Maybe Poetry. So I will go to my next sister, and that's you.
Yes, the co-author.
That's right.
Yes, that was my first book. We co-authored that. I co-authored that with my father, Dr. Bernard Jordan, in 2011, and it's the Cyber Church Internet Marketing Tools for the 21st Century Church. I love this because this tells you, when you think of like the lingo, like internet marketing, it'll tell you. It tells your age. It tells the age of like when it was written, because like in 2015, 2016, we start hearing the word digital. So it's like I used to be like, oh, I'm an internet marketer, and now it's like, okay, I'm a digital marketer. So it's I love this. This gives you a lot of beginners, grassroots techniques on how to market online. So it is telling you how to create your blogs, how you're doing deep link sharings, how you creating comments, doing the basics of the SEO, which we know a lot of that stuff have changed. But this is a great piece for anyone that is doing work or research into the whole computer cyber work. I think this is a great tool that can be used.
This is awesome. And so I'm going to go ahead and say it. To me, this book was ahead of its time. You said this was authored in 2011. In 2011, we didn't need this, right? It was an additional tool. It was beneficial, or we didn't know we needed this, I should say. It was an additional tool. It was something that added on to your ministry, for instance. But now, especially in a post-pandemic world or a mid-pandemic world or a between pandemic world, wherever we're at right now,
that's right.
This is necessary, right? If your church doesn't have technology, if your church isn't in the digital world, if your church isn't even familiar with internet marketing, where are you in this time? So I think this is so awesome because this book is very prophetic. It was ahead of its time, and very much needed even today. This is cool. So when's the follow-up? When's the next book?
I'm going to probably do the next book on next year. I'm going to release it next year, and it's going to be talking about digital discipleship models so that churches can be able to create discipleship models online to keep people more engaged. So I'm super excited, and that is what I'm doing my demon work and study on. So people will know.
And so for those who don't know, it's not demon work. Demon, which is your doctorate of ministry. Just so everybody who doesn't have the lingo knows what you're working at.
She said
doing demon work?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. We rebuke that. No,
it's God's work.
It's doctorate in ministry. And that's what I'm doing my project work on. And I'm really excited because these are ways that we are able to combat against and really end the digital divide.
Yeah.
The more information, the more resources we have, it's the more we can build on. The more that we can pull our people out, and the more that we're able to advocate for our people of using technology, because the way we advocate 50 years ago, we could still advocate like that, but the way of true advocacy that we're now starting to see it is you have to be able to run through a social media platform. And this book also discussed the beginning. Here we go, dating it, social networking.
Oh, social networking.
It's social networking.
Remember that?
Now it's social media. These are different buzzwords.
Wow, but you know what's so interesting
still
is
the same, but the meaning, but
I think the usage sort of changed too.
Yes.
But that's what happens with technology, right? The usage of something changes. So in the beginning, it was exactly what it was. We were networking. That's what it was for. We were doing less business
and you are doing
on Facebook and everything,
right.
and we were more so. Remember that old friend from high school? You were connecting with them. You were staying connected with the people that you are currently in circles with. And so it's interesting how now we use that same thing for more of media, so to speak. We're in the world of media now. We're actually understanding what that tool is for. But that's awesome, and you were definitely at the forefront of this thing. So I think that's really, really cool. And another one of my sisters, and again, the name of the book is The Cyber Church: Internet Marketing Tools for the 20th Century Church. This is awesome.
21st century.
Oh, yes, 21st century church. What did I say? 20th century? No, let's bring it into.
Century.
Woo! All right, and so for my third author here. Yes. And so this is so awesome. So my mother-in-law, Pastor Prophetess Deborah Jordan.
Oh my God, you say that, mother-in-law.
Yes. And, I've had the pleasure of, growing up around Pastor. And obviously she's your birth mother. But she's certainly a mother to me. And I know plays the role of mother to so many others. But another role she plays is also author.
That's right.
And I believe these are not the only 3 books. These are just 3 of the ones that I was able to find on hand. And so I wanted to share that there were also some books that our very own Pastor Deborah has written. One of them is called The Power to Apprehend.
Yes.
And so this is a book all about, being a believer. But I think it's so awesome just to be in the world of, women in leadership, being able to, write and have that expression. I think that, Pastor has so much to share with us and so much to begin to pour into us, not just women and people in general, in the world of ministry and in the world of spirituality. And so this is so cool because this book is certainly all about spirituality, and it has some powerful nuggets in there. Even just as I was cracking this back open, because I can remember this book from when I was younger, I opened it up and I turned to a page and it said, "In order to go forward, you must embrace the law of release. What you are willing to let go of in life will determine what will come into your life." And, even so, this book, it's nuggets like this that you are going to...
And I absolutely love how you just, flip the pages. And when you're flipping the page, it kind of gives you, where you need to start your day or what you need to look at that moment. So I love how you pull that, and it was it's talking about the power of release. So it's okay, what
do I need? Yes.
What do I need to release today? Because we hold on a lot of stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's what's also, I think, so great about what Pastor Deborah shares, is that she shares timely wisdom, and not just timely, but applicable, right? And I know Pastor's just a fountain of wisdom, and I know you know, but just going to be able to speak to her and be able to get in that moment is like, you gave me an answer and solved my problem in a way where sometimes I feel like I got to fight something or push something. Right. And Pastor's very much, no, this is all you have to do, or this is how you have to approach. That's right. And it's that type of wisdom that she brings to the table. And so it's so awesome when you begin to explore her books. This is one of them. Like I said, The Power to Apprehend. We have another one, Prophetic Reflections. And now this is a book of poetry. And Pastor, right. She is a poet. She is a poet. I was going to say, if you know anything about Pastor, she is very much a poet. She's very much into the arts. She loves things of beauty, whether that's sounds of beauty. Right. She likes beautiful words. She likes paintings, right? Oh very much into the aesthetic and the beautifying really of things. Beautiful. Oh yeah, the selections of paintings, the black artwork of the women, of the black women. You know what? So,
oh my God, I love every time I look at that painting in my office. I'm like, yes.
No, it's powerful. But that that's Pastor. And so on this book cover, something that I was just getting my dear sister about is if you look at this cover of this book, you can see my two sisters. We have Naomi here and Bethany on the cover of this book. And this is back in the heyday. You said,
God, Bethany and I, we were pregnant with Naya and Shauna. So that picture was taken in 2007.
Wow, throwback. So
it is definitely a throwback.
And the last one, and now this is one of Pastor's most recent books, 1 + 1 = Success, The Dynamics of Effective Partnership. And I know one of the things that I've always seen with Pastor is she's an excellent partner. When you start to get into the world of like being a wife, being a mother, being just a teammate,
business owner,
right? Just
like there's so much. It's like the world that we live in. It's all with partnership. God did not make man alone, woman alone. It's that God always have seen that we must collab and we must be in partnership with each other. So I love that 1 + 1 = success. I love the picture, the photo. I remember we were working on this together with a gentleman that was kind of helping us when Dr. Jordan and Pastor, when we were putting this collaboration together. And I want to say like that book came out during the midnight prayer call when we had to do the midnight prayer call at 12 midnight for 30 days, and we just been doing it. And
I was gonna say, and that's the thing. No, 2016. It was like March of 2016,
February. Yeah, it was at the Prophecology.
And that thing was supposed to be at 30 days, and then it turned into it's going to be for 90 days, and then 7 years later, we are still on the line praying, and not a night missed. Not a night missed. There is not a night that goes by that there's not prayer.
2017,
that there's not prayer on the line, which is, that in and of itself is amazing, and that's something right there. Again, talking about women's history, that's something a woman created. A woman has created a prayer call that's been going on 7 years strong that you can call every single night at midnight, and they are on the line live.
And it's not like one, and it is not like one or two are there. It's like multiple of women.
There's so many, and I think we're realizing there's just so many amazing contributions of women. And one of the things I'm realizing, they don't have to be famous women. They don't have to be rich women. They don't have to be, just women, even in some sort of, position of power. I think that we deal with so many amazing women in our day-to-day life. In me exploring all these authors, I'm looking far and wide and going, hold on, I have some amazing authors literally right in my family. And, I think that I want to encourage not just the women, but everyone, to look at the amazing women that they have in their lives that are currently making women's history. They're currently contributing
that are making contribution, even if they're a nurse, a teacher in your life. And you may, it may be a girlfriend, it can be any woman that is in your life that is making a contribution. And I like to say a global contribution, a global contribution to this global community. And I like to look at it. It can be something so small, because if you're teaching one, then you don't know that teaching one is teaching many, each one equals to many. So I like to look at it like that. Just look at and just say thank you and to reflect.
That's awesome.
Just to reflect on the contribution. So this is our time. We want to thank you so much for joining us. And we would love to hear what type of contribution you're making for this month, for Women's Month. Thank you.
Thank you.